Don't know what to do with all your chive seeds? You can collect them for the kitchen and use them as a spice. Good morning and welcome to Willow's Green Permaculture. Today, I'm going to show you how you can turn garlic chive seeds into a spice for your kitchen. So if this is something you're interested in, then let's get started. So I've got some garlic chive seed heads here that have been sitting as a decoration in our living room, well, since I guess probably November, and it's April. So they've been sitting in our living room for 5 months, and we've grabbed a few seeds here and there when we've needed them. But I thought I'd show you how you can use these as a spice, because the seeds of garlic chives and the seeds of regular chives and also the seeds of onions, all those plants, you can use the seeds as a spice in your food. So I've got a whole bunch of seed heads here, and first I'm just gonna there. Now, it would have been better to do this what I just did in the fall, because the seeds would have all fallen out with very little chaff. I'm just going to take some of this and I'm going to pass it through this guy onto a plate. Take what I got in here, throw it through here. As you can see, most of the chaff stayed on top. Now I'm just going to tap this lightly so that the chaff doesn't fall through. And here's what I got. Now there's still some chaff in there, but the entire plant of the garlic chives is edible. The entire plant of chives are also edible, and the entire onion plant is edible. So if you got a little bit of chaff in there, there's no big deal. Let's do this again. Tap lightly so some of the chaff stayed in there. And we'll do it one more time. And some of the chaff stayed on there. We got a bunch of seed there. Now, like I said, there wasn't a whole lot left in here, but I'll show you some images from the garden and you'll see how much that we had last fall. When it's time to winnow, the seeds are a lot heavier than the chaff. So all you have to do is gently blow. And what you can do is gently blow over an area where you don't mind some of the seeds falling and regrowing. Because you don't need all the seeds. Because nature's full of abundance and nature's giving you abundantly. And so lots of those seeds can just fall and go back to nature. That's your way of saying thank you to nature. So here goes. Just gently blowing on the seeds and the chaff. And you'll see how the chaff just blows away with a few of the seeds. There's a little snail in there. I thought it was a seed pod. Still there. Here it is. Hey there, little snail. I'll just put that back in the garden. All done. Pure chive seeds to make into some spice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my coffee grinder. Now, you can use one of these, but I'm going to show you how to use this in the video next week. On a video about grinding sorghum and other grains. You'll have to wait till next Wednesday, but this is way too big for this tiny little bit that I'm going to use. I prefer to use my coffee grinder. So I'm just going to take these seeds and throw them into my coffee grinder. Before I do that, I'm going to take a few of them whole. Okay? They taste like onion. So you want to add some onion flavor. Oh, the onion flavor really comes out when you chew it a lot. That's when the onion flavor comes out. Very, very chewy. But because they're very chewy, I'd rather make a powder out of it. So that's how we're going to get the onion flavor out. Now, I would only make these into a powder when I need them. Otherwise, I'd keep them whole. That's why we just kept the flowers like that. We were using them when we needed them. And I would only grind them up into a powder when I need them, because as soon as you grind them up into a powder, well, you're releasing all that flavor. and you don't want all that flavor to dry up on you. And so I want to make the powder and then release it into whatever I'm going to use. Like for instance, I've got some hot pepper powder right here from our dried hot peppers. And I'm collecting some garlic peels and some squash seeds and some sunflower seeds, because Magali makes a really great spice mix with all of these seeds that she grinds up into a powder whole. She'll grind these pumpkin seeds whole into a powder because, of course, pumpkin seeds you can eat whole. You can eat the shell and everything. But when you grind it into a powder, then you don't have to chew on that shell anymore. It's going to be in a powder. You get all the goodness. So anyway, this is something that she'll be able to add to her spice mix. And if there's a little bit of chaff in there, that's okay. Because like I said, the whole plant, the whole garlic chive plant or the whole chive plant or the whole onion plant is edible. And so it's okay if there's a bit of chaff in there because it's just going to be ground into a powder. Now, I prefer to put my coffee grinder between my legs because I hold it better, and then I grind. Now I'm adjusting my grinder because it was too fine. Because of that, I like to grind up my coffee into a nice fine powder. Now I need something a little bit more coarse for these, otherwise they don't grind well. And so I'm just loosening that up a little, making the grind coarser, because it was a little bit too difficult to grind. And the seeds were all just getting stuck inside the grinder. Let's try this again. No, I loosened it up too much there. Okay, so I got to tighten that up a little. Right now it's way too loose. It's on the loosest, but I had it on the tightest, so I got to get it somewhere in the middle there. Adjust it somewhere in the middle there. Definitely looser than the coffee. See if this works. Now if it doesn't work, I've got this one, the stone grinder, which I'm going to show you next week. You can also use a regular kitchen blender with a small blending cup. Put this back on. This fits on top of any regular mason jar this size. Okay. Yeah, now they're grinding. Let's see if I can do this on top. And basically you turn it like this. But it's hard for me to put the pressure on this on a table. So I'd rather just put it between my legs. As anybody who practices Ju-jitsu or any martial art like that will tell you, it's one of the strongest vices there is between the legs. Charlie does Ju-jitsu, and I'd have to ask her what that pin is. And you pin someone between the legs in Ju-jitsu. Anyway, it's really easy to grind using a small grinder like this when you pin it between your legs. That's how I grind my coffee every morning. I grind it every morning, just enough for my coffee. Okay, here we go. And here's what I just ground up to a nice powder using just this little guy. Now, you can use a kitchen blender as well. You don't need a coffee grinder. But for something so small as this, I thought I'd use a coffee grinder. But we get so many seeds that you could at least, you know, with a few plants of garlic chives, you can get at least 2 or 3 cups of seeds. And then a regular kitchen blender will blend that up into a powder really nice. Or a coffee grinder. Or this guy that I'm going to talk to you about next week. All right, so on the right, you've got some of the powder that I made, and on the left, the original seeds. Once again, a kitchen blender can also do this using a small cup. Instead of the large cup, you use a small cup. There it is. It's a coarse grind. I'll have onion tasting coffee in the next few days if I don't wash this properly. That's fine. Onion coffee. Mmm. Delicious. I'll try anything. Onion flavored coffee. Now we've got some nice Garlic Chive Seed powder. You can use this in any of your cooking where you'd like a little bit of onion flavor. You can add onion flavor and some of the goodness of the onion plant or the garlic chive plant to the cooking. But maybe you don't have any onions. And like I said, you can add it to your other spices, mix it in. This is worth repeating. So we've got some dried chili pepper here that we've made into a powder. And I'm collecting some garlic peels. And if I had onion peels, they'd be in there too. That Magali's going to be making into a spice mix, mixing it with pumpkin seed and with sunflower seed. She makes these into a powder using the blender because the whole pumpkin seed is edible. Better not eat all those. I'm saving these to plant. They're so good though. She makes a great spice blend of herbs, onion and garlic peels, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, blends all that together in a powder, and it makes a delicious, very delicious mix. We can add this powder, and now we can add this garlic chive seed powder. Oh, but I haven't tasted it yet. So let's taste this powder. Now, when I tasted the onion seeds earlier, they were crunchy. They were chewy, I should say. Now let's taste this. The flavor came out right away this time. The ones that were made into a complete powder, well, the flavor came right out. But I would say the little mini coffee grinder, it didn't do as good a job as I would have liked. It's probably not meant for this type of hardness of seed. It's meant for coffee beans. So I'd put them in a blender or put them in this. This will make it into a fine powder. This is a stone grinder. So there you go. I hope you liked the video. Hope you learned something from it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it useful. If you liked it, then please give it the thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to leave a comment below or a question. I love to answer your questions and answer your comments, have that conversation with you. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time.